Hello, this is Celia, and welcome to my podcast, Conversation with Celia's. And today we're going to discuss what ruined Empire. And for those unfamiliar with Empire, Empire was a Fox drama that was aired on from 2015 to 2020, and it was extremely popular. But nowadays, when people discuss Empire, it's mainly discussed in association with Jesse Smollett and the career destroying incident, which I will not get into. But there were a lot of factors that caused Empire's downfall and end up in the same vein as Game of Thrones, and that they were the hottest show for much of the 2010s, and then when they had a subpar season and series finale, it became a thing of the past. And for those wondering, the show featured stars Terrence Howard as Lucius Lyon, a DDS hip hop mogul who gets diagnosed with ALS and decides which of his three sons to offer his empire. Then his ex-wife, played by Taraji Henson, comes back home from a jail sentence she pretty much took the fall for Lucius for, and tries to reclaim a part of her empire. And the three sons in question is Andre, the eldest, who's business savvy and pretty much with his major issues being his bipolar disorder, which may or may not have been portrayed accurately in the show, and his relationship to Rhonda, a white woman that Lucius doesn't approve of. Then there's Jamal, the middle child that Lucius isn't fond of due to his sexuality. And then last but not least is Lucius's favorite, Hakeem, a hip hop artist. That's pretty much super immature and spoiled. And then the other characters in the first season include Vernon, Lucius' longtime friend, who's also works in the company. Adika, his fiance, is also an employee at the company as the head of the A&R department. And Rhonda, Andre's wife that he met in college, that helps him with his mental disorder and pretty much joins him in sabotaging him and his siblings. And Tiana, Takim's love interest, who's an artist at Empire. Now, my issue with the show is I started watching the show in its first season, only watched like the first three seasons, and I put it out after season three, seeing how reductive a lot of the storylines were at the time. I didn't watch the later seasons until I saw clips of it on YouTube. Then I wasn't that impressed. If you look at it, even if that incident with Jesse Smollett didn't happen, the show the show would have been canceled regardless, considering the fact it wasn't as much of a big show was back in 2015. But nowadays, when people look back at Empire, mainly they only claim the first season and nothing more, nothing less, because the second or third seasons is when people feel that the show fell off, and it shows. And what caused Empire to fall hard is the list of reasons that caused Empire to pretty much become stale and caused Empire to pretty much decline in popularity and ratings. The first thing on our list is shock value, because in the first season there was the shocking moment, the shocking 2020 moments that were in the first season where that I can think of from memory was Lucius not being misdiagnosed with ALS, Jabal coming out at to his father's white party, and Anika revealed to be messing around with her would have been stepson Hakeem. And those were the shocking 22 movies I could think of, but then in later seasons it got worse. In the second season, Lucia's mom, who we were led on to believe had killed herself, was actually still alive and kept in a nursing home. That was pretty much paid off to not reveal her existence. Then Anika revealed to be the one that pushed Rhonda out the stairs, calling her miscarriage. I forgot to mention that since this was discussing certain plot points of Empire, there will be spoilers. I forgot to mention that. And Frida Gatz, the artist that Lucius mentoring, who happens to be the daughter of Frank Gathers, finding out about what happened about Lucius pretty much killing her father, killed and trying to kill Lucius, but still killing Jamal. And the shocking moments got out of hand in later seasons, like Rhonda being killed off, the weird ghost three-way with Andre, Sarah McLean, and Rhonda's ghost. Andre turning out to be the one that was causing trouble with and framing Romeo for it, etc. Like, the whole shocking moments just got too much. And it came to a hit in, like, the last 2 seasons, which I've never watched, but I've read articles on. Namely, by having Lucius have a illegitimate son named Kingsley who kills himself off and was revealed to be the person in the casket. And even Kingsley as a character doesn't make any sense, which I'll get to. We're not getting to retcons and plot holes within the family lore. And speaking of the family lore, with every new character they add throughout the series, there's always some plot twist and turn with retcons with the family lore. Like, for example, in the last season there was a storyline where Cookie was revealed to have killed Carol's abusive husband, one who's also the father of 2 children, which barely makes any sense because in fact Cookie killed Carol's husband in the 90s, and their children together, they're somehow kids at the beginning of Empire. Like, it barely makes any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Not to mention the whole reveal that her sisters were the ones that indirectly got her in prison when they reported Lucius to police. And another bizarre new character to the family lore or retcon was Kingsley. And Kingsley was the side piece of Gazelle, who has a bone to pick with Lucius. I couldn't find out his bone to pick with Lucius stems from being Lucius' illegitimate son with a white drug user that Lucius used to sell drugs to, named White Tracy. And that in itself, if you really look at it, does make any sense, because in fact, if you watch the first season, the main reason why Lucius didn't approve of Andre's marriage to Rhonda was because of her being a white woman, but yet he fathered an illegitimate son with a white drug user. Like, make it make sense. But that whole relation also makes Lucius look like a hypocrite. And the third reason for Empire's decline in ratings is their overlines with celebrity guest stars that barely had little to no impact on the plot, or barely moved the plot in some way. Like, for example, In the first season, Cubica Jr.'s character, they appeared in one episode as a songwriter friend that Lucius and Cookie do that's never brought up within the series again. Or J Hood, who did a guest appearance as a music therapist who, in a way, helps Andre overcome his or deal with mental health properly and pretty much causes Andre to become a born again Christian. And the last time she's seen in the show, pretty much Lucius signs into a record contract after seeing him perform in church. And then there's Mary J. Blige's appearance in the third to last episode where she's pretty much a former girlfriend. Her cameo, it's like her appearance in the show is pretty much a former girlfriend of Lucius that sings with him, nothing more, nothing less. Like she does. I barely remember she had these speaking lines in a flashback because she only appears in the flashback, which goes in depth about Andre's bipolar. And Raven Simone as Olivia, the mother, Jamal's ex-wife, who shows up with a child that she claims was Jamal's, but couldn't find out was Lucius. But then next season it wasn't really related to either of them, and that's just season when the later seasons got worse with this. Like Becky G make an appearance for like 2 or 3 episodes. And the last time she appeared, she pretty much signed Lucius' label as a celeb, and she's never seen or mentioned again. Then the mom from Boys in the Hood as the prosecutor that tries to pretty much put Lucius in jail in so many words, or Chris Rock as Frank Gathers, the feared kingpin that Lucius and Cookie used to work for. And he's only in the season 2 premiere before getting killed off brutally. And as well, all these celebrity guest stars, their only purpose was being a character connected with Lucius or Cookie or the Wines family in general. And there are only like 1 or 2 episodes are never seen or mentioned again or killed off. Which that's another problem with the show. They had a tendency to kill off characters that they underutilized or underdeveloped, like Vernon, who gets killed off in the first season, Rhonda, who gets killed off in the third season premiere, and Kingsley, who gets killed off just as he was about to be accepted by Lucius, and him getting killed off, and they kill him off just so Andre to gain his heart, pretty much become possessed by a witch. Since I never watched the 6th season, that's another crazy storyline that showed the sign of them falling off. And last but not least was the flannerization or derailment of the main characters. If you watch both the first and last 2 seasons of Empire, the characters are very drastically different. They're like 2 different people. Because over the course of the series, the characters, they all suffer from flannerization or derailment. Namely, Lucius becoming a somewhat nicer and a more remorseful person when he survives a car bomb that cost him his leg. That was orchestrated by Shine and Andre, mind you. Lucius, in so many words, Cookie becoming gay female Lucius. Hakeem becoming somewhat mature after having a daughter with his almost stepmom, Adika. Adika being derailed into a crazy train wreck / Looney Tune who resort to murder to get what she wants. Andre becoming a lot more hinged, even more so when he loses Rhonda. And the Lions becoming a lot more shadier and morally compromised as the season progresses, or the series progresses, I mean. And it causes you to pretty much start rooting for them or pretty much become more dislikable. And those are the reasons that killed Empire or the downfall of Empire. If you like this podcast episode, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.